Welcome to a day in the Word. Today's reading is First Chronicles chapter 1 through First Chronicles chapter 2. First Chronicles chapter 1. The first generations of people were Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. The sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. The sons of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. Nimrod, a descendant of Cush, grew up to become the strongest and bravest soldier in the world. Mizraim was the father of the people of Lud, Anam, Lahab, Naphtu, Pathras, Kaslu, and Caphator. The Philistines came from Kaslu. Canaan was the father of Sidon. Sidon was his first child. Canaan was also the father of the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and the people from Hamath. Shem's sons were Elam, Asur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Aram's sons were Uz, Hol, Gether, and Meshach. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah. Shelah was the father of Eber. Eber had two sons. One son was named Peleg because the people on the earth were divided into different languages during his lifetime. Peleg's brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Almodad, Sheleph, Harzamaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Ebal, Abimel, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these men were Joktan's sons. Shem's descendants were Arphaxad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Ru, Sarug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram. Abram is also called Abraham. Abraham's sons were Isaac and Ishmael. These are their descendants. Ishmael's first son was Nebaioth. His other sons were Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Nephish, and Kedemah. These were Ishmael's sons. Abraham also had sons by Keturah, his slave woman, They were Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan's sons were Sheba and Dedan. Midian's sons were Ephah, Epher, Hanak, Abida, and Eldah. These men were the descendants of Keturah. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac's sons were Esau and Israel. Esau's sons were Eliphaz, Reuel, Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. Eliphaz's sons were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Also, Eliphaz and Timnah had a son named Amalek. Reuel's sons were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. Seir's sons were Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. Lotan's sons were Hori and Homam. Lotan had a sister named Timnah. Shobal's sons were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shapho, and Onam. Zibeon's sons were Iah and Anah. Anah's son was Dishon. Dishon's sons were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithron, and Karan. Ezer's sons were Bilhan, Zavan, and Achan. Dishan's sons were Uz and Aran. There were kings in Edom long before there were kings in Israel. These are the names of the kings of Edom. Bela was a son of Beor. The name of Belah's city was Dinahaba. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, became the new king. Jobab came from Basra. When Jobab died, Husham became the new king. Husham was from the country of the Timonites. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, became the new king. Hadad defeated Midian in the country of Moab. Hadad's city was named Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah became the new king. Samlah was from Masrekah. When Samlah died, Shual became the new king. Shual was from Rehoboth by the Euphrates River. When Shual died, Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, became the new king. When Baal-Hanan died, Hadad became the new king. Hadad's city was named Pau. Hadad's wife was named Mehetabel. Mehetabel was Matrit's daughter. Matrit was Mazihab's daughter. Then Hadad died. The leaders of Edom were Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Aholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. This is a list of the leaders of Edom. First Chronicles chapter 2. Israel's sons were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Judah's sons were Onan, and Shelah. Bathshua from Canaan was their mother. The Lord killed the first son, because he saw that he was evil. Judah's daughter in law Tamar gave birth to Perez and Zerah. So Judah had 5 sons. Perez's sons were Hezron and Hamul. Zerah had 5 sons. They were Zimri, Ethan, Heman, Calcol, and Darda. Zimri's son was Carmi. Carmi's son was Echar. Echar was a man who brought many troubles to Israel. Echar kept the things he took in battle, but he was supposed to give them all to God. Ethan's son was Azariah. Hezron's sons were Jeremiel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was Aminadab's father, and Aminadab was Nahshon's father. Nahshon was the leader of the people of Judah. Nahshon was Salmon's father. Salmon was Boaz's father. Boaz was Obed's father. Obed was Jesse's father. Jesse was Eliab's father. Eliab was Jesse's first son. Jesse's second son was Abinadab. His third son was Shimei. Nethanel was Jesse's fourth son. Jesse's fifth son was Radiah. Ozem was Jesse's sixth son, and David was his seventh son. Their sisters were Zariah and Abigail. Zariah's 3 sons were Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail was Amasai's mother. Amasai's father was Jether. Jether was from the Ishmaelites. Caleb was Hezron's son. Caleb had children with his wife Azubah. Azubah was the daughter of Jerath. Azubah's sons were Jesher, Shobab, and Arden. When Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrath. Caleb and Ephrath had a son. They named him Hur. Hur was Uri's father. Uri was Bazel's father. Later, when Hezron was 60 years old, he married Machir's daughter. Machir was the father of Gilead. Hezron had sexual relations with Machir's daughter, and she gave birth to Segub. Segub was Jair's father. Jair had 23 cities in the country of Gilead, but Jesher and Aram took Jair's villages. Among them were Kenneth and the small towns around it. There were 60 small towns in all. All these towns belonged to the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. After Hezron died in the town of Caleb, Ephrathah, his wife, Abijah, had his son, who was named Asher. Asher was the father of Tekoa. Jeremiel was Hezron's first son. Jeremiel's sons were Ram, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Ram was Jeremiel's first son. Jeremiel had another wife named Atara. Onam's mother was Atara. Jeremiah's first son, Ram, had sons. They were Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. Onam's sons were Shammai and Jada. Shemaiah's sons were Nadab and Abishur. Abishur's wife was named Abihail. They had two sons. Their names were Aban and Molid. Nadab's sons were Seled and Apiam. Seled died without having children. Apiam's son was Ishi. Ishi's son was Shishan. Shishan's son was Ahalai. Jada was Shemaiah's brother. Jada's sons were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without having children. Jonathan's sons were Peleth and Zaza. This was a list of Jeremiah's children. Shishan did not have sons, he only had daughters. Shishan had a servant from Egypt named Jah. Shishan's, Shishan let his daughter marry Jah. They had a son. His name was Attiah. Attiah was Nathan's father. Nathan was Zabad's father. Zabad was Ephlah's father. Ephelah was Obed's father. Obed was Jehu's father. Jehu was Azariah's father. Azariah was Helez's father. Helez was Elisa's father. Elisa was Sismaiah's father. Sismaiah was Shallum's father. Shallum was Jechamiah's father. And Jechamiah was Elishama's father. Caleb was Jeremiah's brother. Caleb had some sons. His first son was Misha. Misha was Zip's father. There was also Caleb's son Matashah. Merashah was the father of Hebron. Hebron's sons were Korah, Tapua, Rakim, and Shema. Shema was Raham's father. Raham was Jerakim's father. Rakim was Shemaiah's father. Shemaiah's son was Moan. Moan was Bethzur's father. Caleb's slave woman was named Ephah. Ephah was the mother of Haran, Mozah, and Gazez. Haran was Gazez's father. Mahadiah's sons were Regem, Jotham, Geshan, Pelet, Ephah, and Sha'af. Maacah was another slave woman of Caleb. Maacah was the mother of Sheber, Turhana. Maacah was also the mother of Shaph and Shiva. Shaph was Matmanah's father. Shiva was the father of Machbenah and Gibeah. Caleb's daughter was Aksah. This is a list of Caleb's descendants. Hur was Caleb's first son. He was born to Ephrathah. Hur's sons were Shobal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the founder of Bethlehem, and Hereth, the founder of Beth Gedar. Shobal was the founder of Kiriath Jearim. This is a list of Shobal's descendants. Hera, half the people of Manahati, and the tribes from Kiriath Jarim. These are the Ithriites, Puthites, Shemathites, Misraites, the Zorathites, and the Ishtolites came from Mishrates. This is a list of Salma's descendants. The people from Bethlehem: Netophah, Athroth, Beth Joab, half the people of Manahati, the Zorites, and the families of scribes who lived in Jabez, Tereth, Shemeth, and Sukkah. These scribes are the Canaanites who came from Hamath. Hamath was the founder of Beth Rekab. Thank you for joining A Day in the Word Bible in a Year series. Please subscribe, like, comment, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Until next time, shalom.